section. John section, I'm sure you did too. I didn't grade yours, so I don't know. But the one part that everybody seemed to have trouble with was poruse. It was just a parse out of context, okay? And so you would have seen this ending right here, this eta with the iota subscript, and known that that was a second singular with your middle passive endings, okay? And so this is just a regular old future deponent. A lot of you put poruo. Instead of oh my, you put an omega ending, and that's a straight up vocab issue. You gotta know your lexical forms. Okay, so whenever you solve this, you have to decide, okay, I know this is a middle passive ending, but is it a middle passive, true middle passive, or is it a deponent? And the only way you know that is from your vocab. You gotta know your vocab. Okay? So you really make sure that you hammer hard, erkomai, poruomai, all of those guys, you want to be able to know that they're deponent in the present tense. Okay, that was the only note that was consistently missed on the quiz. You guys did very well. So, quick review from the lecture last Friday. A root is the most basic form of a verb. This is the language that you need to know in your head. It contains the lexical value. Stems are the most basic form of a verb in a given tense. Okay, so that's the difference. Basic form of a verb in a tense. They can be the same, that's the definition of regular, or they can be different, and that's what we're dealing with in Chapter 20, irregular verbs. So, just a heads up, the building blocks are the same, okay? We'll have our future stem, for the future tense at least, we have the future stem, you have a tense formative, and this changes depending on whether or not it's a liquid verb. We talked about that. Okay? Then the connecting vowel is the same, and your primary or your active endings are the same. Okay? Now, the new anytime paradigms that you're going to have to learn for this chapter are these three words and their principal parts. Okay? Erkomai, lego, and horao are multiple root verbs. That means that their principal parts don't make any sense whatsoever. Okay? You just have to straight up memorize them. So when you look at horao and you see el usomai and you go, what? Who knows why? But you just have to memorize the principal parts of those verbs because they don't look anything like their lexical forms. Okay? Everything else we have covered in Chapter 19, and we're just going to dig right in. So, now, this little quirky thing called liquid verbs. We'll do a quick review of this. Okay, so we have normal building blocks, but when the stem ends in these three consonants, lambda, mu, nu, or rho, and Dr. K gave us Sir Liquid Lemonnier and made it French sounding, and when I was in my first year, I'm a redneck from the South, I thought he said lemonary. And so I always remembered it this way, but however it works for you, if you want to say lemonary, or if you want to say limonier, whatever is fine, but you want to remember those four consonants, lambda, mu, nu, and rho. Okay? So, just a little insight into how I think. But when the stem ends in those four consonants, this becomes your tense formative. Instead of a sigma, you add the epsilon. So this is a future tense problem because present tense doesn't have a tense formative. So when you add that little quirky tense formative, then you have a fun little intervocalic sigma. The sigma goes away. These two vowels contract. Okay? And then you have a whole new problem, and it looks strange. Okay? So this is something that you have to get used to when you see something, and this will have a circumflex over it, I just didn't type it, but when you see that vowel contraction, you know that this is a quirky form of the future tense. So you'll get used to this, and the way that you'll notice is by recognizing this consonant right before your endings. Okay, so you know balo is a liquid verb, so when it adds a future tense, you're not going to see the sigma, you're going to see something slightly different. All right? We'll see that in context as we go on. So I'm going to do one, as I always do, so bust out your homework, and I'm going to do number one, and then we'll go from there. All right. So, ignore me here today. Okay. Number one, what's the first thing that we look for whenever we deal with a sentence? We break it down according to what? Oh, dear. Punctuation. Yeah, well done. Okay, so I'm going to go through and find all of my punctuation marks. There's only one. The next thing I look for is what? Oh, no, there's two. Just kidding. There is, what do we look for after punctuation? Before prepositions.
Subject?
Dependent clauses. Good. Yay. Right, so this is for hina, hati, relative clauses. Do we see any of those?
No.
No. Then what do we look for? Prepositions. Okay, so I've got a preposition here. Any more prepositions that I'm looking for? No. Okay, so now I'm ready to break this thing down clause by clause. So I look for my verb. I see right here. Does Mounce give you this one? He sure does. And he says, this is I baptized. But lo and behold, I got this lovely little pronoun here. What is that one? I. So is this an emphasized form?
I myself.
Yeah, so that you would have underlined that word I baptized you. And this is a dative of means, or a dative of instrument. This is an intermediate grammar deal. So a lot of you might have said, I baptized you to water, right? Because you would think this is an indirect object. It's not. It's the means with which you accomplish the verb, I baptized you with water. Okay, so that's intermediate. You don't need to know that, but just so you know that there's a lot of things the dative does that we haven't quite talked about yet. So I have baptized you with water, comma, and, or but, he, and this is one of those here, will baptize you. And what is this autos? Did anybody remember that?
Oh, the 3 eyes of autos.
3 eyes of autos? Independent pronoun, and it's also an emphasized form. He will baptize you, underlined, in the Holy Spirit. And we know that the Holy Spirit often doesn't get an article in front of it, and because that's a transfer over from Hebrew, it's a title. There's a lot of fun little things that we can talk about why that doesn't get an article. But that's how you would break down this verb. Now, the reason that you know will baptize, okay, or no, this is baptize, yeah, will baptize here. Just kidding. You see that baptizo, but it has the sigma instead of the zeta, okay? And baptizo, its principal part in a future tense is baptizo. So you see OA's A, third singular, and you see the sigma instead of the zeta. And so you have learned your principal parts, you have memorized them like Dr. K has said, and so you recognize this is a future tense form, not a present tense form.
Because it has the sigma.
Because it has the sigma. Okay, and you'll find that most stems that end in zeta follow that pattern. Okay, so that's how you kind of deal with this. This verb you were given, this verb you had to figure out. And you were okay to do that because you know your ending, OA's A, and you know that this sigma is a principal part, is that tense formative, and the principal part of baptizo is baptizo. Questions on one? Okay, now it's your turn. So, if you will jump back to the warm-ups, please. Okay. Let's start off with John.
Okay.
Tear it up, man.
Ekenos krine auton and te escate
Yeah.
nemera.
Okay.
I translate, they will judge them in last day.
They will judge who?
Them.
Them in
Last day.
in last day. Okay, now John, talk to me about a few things. Can you parse ekenos?
Ekenos is nominative.
It's nominative, but go ahead and parse it. So give me gender, number, then case.
Masculine.
Uh-huh.
nominative.
Number first. There you go. Masculine, singular, nominative. Now, what is the function of this verb? Or what is the, not verb, what is the function of this word?
I see it as a subject.
It is the subject, okay? But remember, what we always do with function, we tell me what it is, then tell me what it's doing. So what is it? What type of word is this?
It's a demonstrative.
It's a demonstrative. How do you translate demonstrative? Is this a near or a far demonstrative?
This is far.
Far. So how do you translate it?
That.
That. So is it they will judge?
That will judge.
That one will judge, right? So this is going to be acting like a pronoun here.
Yep.
So it's that one will judge because this is a singular. OA's A.
Yeah.
Okay, so this can't be a they will judge. That will judge. Good. Okay. And then what's out on?
It's a direct object.
Direct object. Okay. Now how did you translate it?
Oh. Yeah, I translate that. Is it?
Well, it could be it, or if I'm looking for more singular than plural. So if rather than a lot of them, this is auton, not autus, right? So if we're looking plural, it would be something slightly different. Right, so how would you translate this if it's in the singular? Would you say it? It is usually neuter. So that's auton. How would you do singular with this particular gender? What gender is it, first off?
I think it can be nominative. I mean, masculine or in neutral.
Yeah. Now, so if it's masculine and it's in the accusative because it's the direct object, like you said, how do you translate it?
They will judge him.
Him. Very good. Okay. Now, both of this autos, Esther, this autos. What is its? Which eye of autos is it? This autos right here. Which eye of autos? What function of autos is it? Which one? Pronoun. What type of pronoun? Give me the word right before it. Independent pronoun. Very good. Very good. Now, how did you know that? Now, there's no subject. There is no what right before it. What do you look for right before an autos? Do you want to phone a friend? Take a friend. Friend? You are her friend. You are her lifeline. When you see autos, you look for two things. What are they?
Article.
Article is the first thing. Is there an article? No. What's the second thing you look for? A matching noun in gender, number, and case. Is there a matching noun? No, because this is in the accusative. All right, you guys high five each other. He saved you. Lifeline. You can continue to play. Who wants to be a Greek nerd? All right, so that is number one. That one will judge him in the last day. John's class, I don't put up the English. Just so you know, I'm mean and hateful. So I will repeat it as many times as you want, but that's kind of how we roll. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have to put that one? Would that be more correct than just that?
Yes.
Because that doesn't.
You can put either one.
Either or.
Yes. I would put that one because usually if somebody's doing judging, they're a person. And that one just seems to make more sense in my mind. On an exam, I'll give you either. Okay? Yes?
Can I say that now? Since it's